It's Rebecca. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to go over using the pen and curvature tools with a really fun connect the dots little exercise. So right now I'm in Illustrator in the Essentials workspace, and I'm going to go ahead and place my file that I'm going to be tracing. I'm going to go to File, Place, and it's going to be called rocketpathtrace.pdf. That's in the notes below if you'd like to download it and work along with me. And I'm just going to click to place it using my selection tool. I'll go ahead and click the corner and drag it. I'm holding down Shift to lock the proportions so it doesn't get distorted. And then in my layers panel here, I'm going to lock that layer so that it doesn't move around as I work. And then I'll create a new layer, clicking on the new layer, create new layer little plus icon in the bottom corner of the layers panel. Great. Let's go ahead and grab our pen. You can click P on your keyboard as a little hotkey shortcut there, or you can just click on the pen tool. So this is a really fun image from an old Photoshop Learn book that's several years old by now, but I like to use it in Illustrator because it works the same as far as the pen tool goes. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the capital A. I'm going to connect these blue dots here. And notice that some of the capital letters have little companion lowercase letters, and I'll show you what that's going to do in a minute. So first I'm going to start on A and just click one time and release. I'm not going to drag at all. Now I'm going to click on the capital B. This time I'm not going to release, and I'm going to drag that handle to the lowercase b little red dot there. Now it's not perfect, but don't worry, we're going to go back and make adjustments. Next, I'm going to go ahead and click on the capital C blue dot and drag to that lowercase c red dot. Easy enough, right? Let me zoom in. I'm going to hit Command plus to zoom in, and I'm going to hold down my spacebar to activate the Move tool. All right, so now I'm going to click on this capital D, drag to the lowercase d, capital E, drag to the lowercase e, and click on the F. There's no companion lowercase f here. Now I'm going to click on the capital G, go to the lowercase g, easy enough. I'm going to activate my Move tool by clicking on the spacebar and sliding that image over. I'm going to click on the H and go to the lowercase h. Now here's where we get fun. We are going to, oh, I wasn't supposed to click on that. Let me hit undo, Command Z, easy enough. One more time to get me back to this capital G. All right, here we go. So click on the capital H and drag to the lowercase h. Now I'm going to activate my anchor point tool that is going to change this anchor point from a smooth anchor point to a corner anchor point. So if I hold down the Alt or Option key on my keyboard, I notice my cursor change to the anchor point icon, and that's this little upside down V here, right? I'm going to grab that handle and swing it back a little bit, tuck it back to the H, because I'm anticipating going this direction. So when we first pulled it to the H, what that did was it made this curve over here nice and round from that capital G, but now I need this curve to go under this back part of the little rocket. So I know I'm going to have to tuck it back to get it to swing around. These handles basically work as magnets, pulling and pushing these paths around. So from here, I'm going to click on this capital I. It looks like a lowercase l, but you know how sans serif fonts are. So click on this. I'm sorry, I double clicked. Command Z to undo. Come on now. There we go. One more time. Okay. Click on the capital I and drag it to this lowercase I way up here. And I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Hold down Alt Option and pull it back to tuck it under here to go to the capital J. Drag to that lowercase j. One more time. I want to make a hard turn here. So I'm going to turn this from a curved anchor point into a corner anchor point by holding down Alt Option and bending that handle at that point, right? Now I'm going to click on K, go to the lowercase k, click on L, go up to the lowercase l, click on, it's going to be, that's kind of a high L up there. So let me just, since I know how to do this shortcut now, hold down Alt Option, pull it back a little bit. Now go to that M. Hold on, I undid it. Go on that M and pull over to that lowercase m. I got a little bump in the road, but that's okay. We'll go back and fix that in a minute. I'm going to activate that anchor point tool again, hold down Alt Option, and swing that so I create another corner point there. Get up to my capital N to my lowercase n, My O doesn't have a baby O, so it automatically, because I'm not clicking and dragging, that point is automatically a corner point, okay? Then I'm going to go to my capital P, no companion there. Go to my capital Q and pull to the lowercase q. Capital R, no companion, so I make a corner point. Capital S, no companion. I'm going to hold down my shift space bar, to activate the move tool. And for this final one, I'm going to hover over the A until my cursor has a little circle to show me that that's going to make a closed shape. And after I click, I'm going to drag to this final red dot there. So click and drag to the final. Boop. Easy enough, right? So now we can make some changes here. I'm going to stay using my pen tool. And I just want to show you, if you hover over a point, your pen tool automatically changes to a delete anchor point tool. I don't want to delete it. And if I hover over a path where there's not an anchor point, notice that your pen tool cursor automatically adds a little plus there. That means it's going to add an anchor point if you were to click on that path. And that's the only tool that you can actually add an anchor point with. So instead, I want to convert the anchor point. So I'm going to hold down my Alt Option, and I'm going to click on this B here, and it changed it from a corner point to a smooth point, which is fine. I'm looking at this second curve here, and that looks good to me. But if I hold down the anchor, the Alt Option key to convert that handle to a corner point again, and I hover over this side of the handle, now I get that bend back, and I can pull this and make it perfect along that edge there. So that looks good to me. Let me just zoom around here and look. Oh yeah, we got this wonky little hump over here. Let's fix that. So I'm going to make sure that I press down my Alt Option key so I don't delete the anchor point. We're converting it. Something I want to show you, as you pull it there, that looks great. And then I'm going to pull this handle to bend it back, tuck it back. I'm going to grab this handle. If you click on an anchor point with your anchor point tool, if it's a corner point, it's going to instantly convert to a smooth point. If it's initially a smooth point, it's going to instantly convert it to a corner point. If you click on the handle, if the handle is active and you can see it using the anchor point tool, then it doesn't convert the point, it just lets you move the handle. All right. Now, if you're going from a smooth point, let me just grab one here, maybe this G over here, and you use that anchor point tool, a lot of times you have to unwind it. It'll be twisted like this. So just keep that in mind as you're working. If it's doing something weird, it's because it needs to be unwound. Okay, it's like always twisty. It's very strange. All right, so we have the outline of our shape done. Let me zoom out a little bit, and I can, fill in the shape. Hard to tell what it is right now. So let's go ahead now and work with our curvature tool. This is a really fun tool. So it's like the pen tool, but almost does the opposite. So the pen tool initially wants to create straight paths as you click around. For example, if I was to use the pen tool and just click and make points, then it makes corner points, right? The curvature tool does the opposite. I click and click and click, and it pulls around wherever there's an anchor point. It creates a bend there. So all of the points are smooth points. There's a little trick here with the curvature tool. When a lot of people stray away from it because it doesn't work like the pen tool. So when they make their first point and then their second point, it looks like it's a straight path, but there's some handle bending going around there. But then when you click on your third point, it arcs the path for you. It's very interesting. So you got to kind of mess with it to get used to the beginning of it. But here's what's really fun about it. You don't have to jump back to the pen tool to make a corner point. You just double click, and then that instantly creates a corner point. So every time I double click with the curvature tool, I get a corner. If I single click, it turns it into a smooth point again, and I'll go ahead and close this shape. All right. You can also, with the curve tool, as I make curved points, I can click once and go on, but then I can go back and hover, and I see my cursor change to this little circle with a plus in the middle. If I click on it, double click on it, then I just converted that to a corner point. I know, wonky, but it's an option. So let's make this windshield with the curvature tool. So I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to click again, and then I'm going to click again, and I'm just making this really nice, smooth corner here. For this part, I'm going to double click to create a corner point. Then I just know that it's going to bend in the way I want it to. And I'm just making little paths. Very easy. It's so fun. There you go. So Windshield is done. Let's go ahead and do this one using that double click feature. So I'll click here to make my first point, click here to make my second. Just going on down, making this nice curve. I'm going to double click here because I know I'm going to want to bend here. And I'll go click here once and click here once to make that curve, but I'm going to double click on this one because I know I want a corner here. And now I'm going to double click when I finish the path so that I get a nice sharp edge here. Boop, boop, boop. Nice, perfect. And then for this wing, let's go ahead and go back to our pen tool and just practice tracing this without having to connect the dots to lead our way. So I'm going to click one time to start, click again. This is a pretty straight line, so I'm okay with that. Now I'm going to click and drag to start making a nice softer edge, a little, curved path there. And keep going here. Keep going here. So you're just anticipating where you're going to go next when you create these handles. So I'm looking at where my last curve was, the one behind me, and I'm looking at the one in front of me. If there's a huge variation, then I will go ahead and hold down the Alt Option key to bend. Yep, there we go. I got to let go of it first. Now I hold down the Alt Option key to create a quarter bend there with my leading handle. And then I'll just keep going. Come on back up here and close my shape once I see that little circle appear next to my cursor. Really cool. So to finish off this piece, what I would do is I would go in and maybe create a little curve around this blue shape and definitely around the green one and around the silver one. I just like to look at it in terms of like blocks of color, but you can make it as simple as you'd like. So I have this one. I'm going to use my selection tool now. I've got the wing selected. I can double click to bring up my color picker and I can fill it with red. Boop. Nice and bright. And I can fill this one with green. I definitely want to get rid of that nasty black outline. I don't like a black stroke. Click on this one, get rid of that black stroke. Cool, click on my windshield. I'll just give it a black fill for now, and then click on my background and give it a different colored red so that my wing still stands out. Dink. Meh, it's going to be a lot more detailed in the end, so you go ahead and play with it. Post what you made in the comments. That'd be so great. I'd love to see it. And thanks so much for joining me today.